Here's some really good Irish nature news. Actually, it might be our best news to date. This is a red kite, and believe it or not, it has been extinct in Ireland for nearly 200 years after being persecuted into oblivion by the end of the 18th century. And thankfully reintroduced very successfully here in Wicklow, and then later in Dublin and in County Down in 2007 onwards. And its populations are doing really well. Red kites are raptors, but actually for the most part, they don't hunt. They do hunt and take live prey from time to time in the form of rats and mice and rabbits and smaller birds like pigeons. But for the most part, they actually scour from up high looking for carrion or dead animals, including roadkill. And that's when they come down and they feed on those dead animals. But when farmers are ploughing their fields, you might have the opportunity to see huge amounts of red kites come down. I've seen up to 14 in one field one time in Wicklow come down looking for worms, because they are opportunistic and they'll come down and take larger invertebrates and worms and things when they have the chance. But for the most part, they feed on carrion. They're quite easy to recognize in the sky once you tune your eye to them. They quite often get mixed up with buzzards, which I'll talk about in another video because they're also really interesting. But red kites are much slimmer and more elongated, and they're more elegant, and they've got this kind of forked tail. They also make use of warm air coming off the land, and sometimes you'll see them circling in thermals of hot air up really, really high. Up to 2, 3, 4 of them at a time, sort of like the way you see vultures doing in movies. The red kite reintroduction program has been absolutely incredible and a great success story. It might actually be our best success story to date. However, they are still considered threatened. They are on the red list, and they are actually technically rare. You are quite likely to see them in the areas that they have been reintroduced. But the good news is that they are slowly spreading across the country. So your chances of seeing them, if you don't live in Down, Wicklow or Dublin, are slowly increasing. They are also an indicator species because they're apex predators. If we see an increasing population of them, that means that below them in the food chain, there is enough life to support them. So there is enough small mammals and invertebrates there in the area to feed them. So that is a really good indication. Unfortunately, from time to time, they are still being poisoned via secondary poisoning, which I've talked about in other videos. But please do your best to go and appreciate them. Go keep your eyes peeled, especially in Wicklow, not when you're driving, but when you're the passenger in a car, especially around the Avoca area and the British Bay area. You're quite likely to see them there.